you really have to be switched on for these. I know this is the last session of the day, but you'll be buzzing by the end of it, I guarantee. All right, now the way it works is it's 20 slides for 20 seconds per slide. So these people are sweating right now, okay, because they've got to work hard to deliver a presentation that's concise enough so that you can understand it in that sort of constraint. But these tend to be some of the best sessions at a Moodle Moot. We've been running them for a couple of Moodle Moots now in different parts of the world. They always turn out good and everyone's, wow, that was really good. Mostly because they're really grabbing your attention. The way it's going to work, we're going to have one presenter after the other come up. We just switch over in between. I want you to write down your questions either electronically or some other means. Collect them up so that you've got them, and we're going to have a question session at the end. Okay? Right. Without further ado, Sarah. There's Sarah. You talking? You working?
Hello, can you hear me?
No? All right.
Hello.
Yeah.
Awesome. So, hello, my name is Sarah Ashley, and I am an instructional designer with the Biomedical and Health Sciences campus of Rutgers University. When we switched from Angel to Moodle 1.9 in 2012, our faculty realized that they had lost some detailed reporting for forum activities. They couldn't tell how many posts had been made and whether they were on time and that kind of thing. So we decided to do something about it. What we did was we developed a plugin, a report plugin for forum participation that displays the students' names, the number of posts, which ones are initial posts, which ones are peer review posts, and then a summary of grading information. When you click on the student's name, it takes you to the page where all the forum posts are, and then you can grade it. But this is on Moodle 1.9. This fall, we are moving, upgrading to Moodle 2.8, and we realized we needed to rewrite the code. So, in the meantime, I came up with a workaround using the configurable report plugin. This is a block that you install, and then you can write a query that pulls the information that you want. It's a similar report, has the students' names, initial post, the time that the post was made, and then the total number of replies and then posts. You click on the student's name, and then it takes you to the detail where you can make a feedback with grading if it's turned on in your forum. So how do you actually get this report to work? Some of the things that you would need is the configurable reports plugin that's available on Moodle.org plugins database. And then there's another plugin that I use called the Moodle Adminer, and that actually connects to the database of your Moodle site and shows you all the tables. And you need that because you need to write the names of the tables for your query. So that's something you would need. And of course, you need admin rights to install it. So if you're not an admin, you'd have to go to your admin and say, please install this for me. And they may say no, because if you don't write your query well, you can affect the database by slowing it down and taking away resources from other processes that need to use the database. So you have to, kind of convince them and say you're going to manage it well. So if you do get it installed, you add it to your course as a block, and then you go to the Manage Reports page and then add your report. And in order to use the report that I'm going to show you, you have to set the type to SQL query. Okay, so that's your type of report that you're going to show. And it will bring you to the window where you have to type your query. Don't be afraid, don't be scared. If you don't know how to write a query, there are ready-made queries that are on the Moodle community page. So if you look at the bottom of that screen, there's a link that takes you to the contributed reports in the community, and you can take some of those and use them right as they are, or you can modify them to suit what you need to do. So what is a query? Our basic select query that we use for my example here has these basic building blocks. You select something from a table where the records match this criteria and so on and so forth, and then you can sort it. So let's say that this is your report. We are pulling information A and B from table 1, and then some other information from table 2, and something else from table 3. Keeping in mind that some of these information have to be related in the different tables. Okay, so this is just a general picture. So now let's take a look at the various pieces of information that we actually need for our query. First of all, the query needs to know which course the report is coming from. Okay, so you need your course ID, which will be in the course URL on your course page. Then which forums do you want the report on? You need to write down that forum ID for each forum that you want to report on. and then what is the role of the user that you want. When you develop your report, you have various columns. What columns do you actually need? And I've listed them on the left side, students' names, number of posts, and then on the right is the name of the table that you need to pull the information from. Okay, so this is the information we want the report to show. Let's take a look at the actual query. So the select piece of it has something similar to this. First, I want the first name of the student, the last name of the student. I want the initial post to be counted. I want the time that that was posted, and then the number of replies and total posts. So this is kind of basically what your query would look like. Then the from piece of it, which tells the database which tables to pull the information from, looks like this. You need to definitely start with the word prefix when you're writing the table name so that it pulls directly from your database, and then the name of the forums follow, like that. Because you have multiple tables together, you are using a join function to kind of put it all together into one report. The where condition is where you actually narrow down the information so that it pulls reports or the records that match your criteria. Okay, so this is the where portion of it. And important to note that this is where you're going to plug in your forum ID for each report for each forum. Okay, so you change the ID for the forum in there. And then the last piece is sorting. You definitely want it maybe according to last name, alphabetically from A to Z or something like that. So this is where you specify how you want the information in your result set to be sorted. Okay, so this is basically how you write your query. After you set up the query, you can then restrict access to the report. Maybe you don't want students coming to take a look at this. So you can restrict it using permissions and select what role the person in the course should have. In this particular example, I selected teacher. So only teachers in this course will be able to access the report. So you can have some security on there. After you've created your first report, you can duplicate it by going to the Manage Reports page and then using your popular duplicate icon to duplicate the first report, change the name of it to the next forum, and then in the query, change the forum ID to the next forum that you want the report on, and so on and so forth. So you only need to get started with your first report. If you do not want to write code, you don't have to write code. There are other types of reports that you can use, and in this example here, I've selected a course report that will show something on the course fields, which is I want to find out if my courses have the conditional completion tracking turned on. So by just picking from the drop-down menus, I've created a simple report that shows all the courses that I am teaching and whether completion tracking is turned on. Here I have one that isn't turned on, so I can go in there and turn completion tracking on. So you can pull information into a report very simply with or without using code in MySQL. So thank you very much for your attention, and I look forward to your questions after.